Hey, welcome in everybody. In this video, I'm going to be using Autocad 2024, and I'm going to create the lines and squares pattern exercise. So I'm trying to go through this SDC book and just kind of recreate the exercises. So what I want to do first is I am going to start me a brand new drawing. And this is kind of right out of the box, so there's nothing set up here. There's no fancy menus or anything. There's no layers. So the first thing that I want to do is make sure that I'm in the right units. So this exercise looks like it's in decimal units, so I am in decimal units. And if you don't see that, if I click on this the three lines over here for customization, I can look at my, you can kind of see which ones are checked. The ones that are checked are the ones that are going to show up down here in the bottom. So I have my line weight on. I'm trying to think of the ones that I have that may be different from the normal. I have my units on, so that kind of tells me if I'm on decimal units or architectural units, but just make sure that's selected. And then line weight, I also like to have that checked too. I think most of the other ones are probably going to be already checked on for you. So to get out of this, I'm just going to click on this again. What I want to do first is I'm going to start a brand new layer because I don't want to draw on layer 0. I'm going to go up to layer properties. I'm going to click on this kind of stack of paper with the yellow kind of star next to it. And I'm going to just name this layer object. And I like to use all capital letters because I like to get fancy like that. So the color, I'm going to change it from white to red. And then the line weight, I'm going to pick on 0.3 millimeters. And then click close. That's why I like to have this button here checked, my line weights display. So I kind of see the thickness of the lines as I go. But what I want to do first is I'm going to start with this kind of the box that's kind of in the middle. And it's a square that's 3 units by 3 units. So I'm going to go up to my draw panel. I'm going to click on my rectangle. And I'm not going to use the grid here because I rarely use the grid. I know I may be slacking, but I'm just going to select any place here by left clicking my mouse and kind of dragging up to the right and over and up, or you can, however you want to do it. But if you see it you see the numbers that are kind of highlighted blue. So it's asking me for what is the width of this object that I'm going to create. So this is going to be 3. I'm going to hit the tab key to bounce to the next one. So now the height of that, I want that to be 3 also. So I'm going to type in 3. I'm going to hit the tab key again. And now I'm going to press enter. So that's kind of the inside square that I have going. And notice that all these other squares that are inside that, they're kind of made smaller by 0.25, it says. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to use the offset command. And it's going to ask me from what distance. So I'm going to go type in 0.25, press enter. I'm going to select this box and click to the inside. Select this one, click to the inside. I'm just going to keep kind of going. You kind of see the idea. And then I think this is the last one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to hit the escape key to get out of that command. And also, if you notice, we went to the trouble of making a brand new layer and called it object layer, but we're still drawing on layer 0. So how we fix that is I'm just going to select all of these lines. So I'm just going to left click, drag it, select all these, and then up at the top where you see layers, instead of 0 here, I'm going to select object. And that's going to change all those to my new fancy object layer. So I hit escape there. All right, so there's all our squares with our line weight thickness showing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the kind of square that's kind of rotated like 90 degrees or a diamond shape, whatever. So the easiest way I think to do that is I'm going to go up to my draw panel again. I'm not going to use a square this time, or I'm not going to use a rectangle. I'm going to use a polygon. So I'm going to click the polygon. And that says how many sides do I want? I want 4. Press enter. And it's asking me for the center. So the center, make sure that when you go to your object snaps here, make sure you have geometric center checked. That's going to be a big help. So I have that checked. So now whenever I'm looking for the center of this box here. So I'm going to click that. And then it's going to say, do you want it to be inscribed or circumscribed? So this particular instance, I want it to be circumscribed. And I'm just going to select one of the corners of this kind of outside box here. And so that's probably the easiest way that I know to kind of create that rotated square shape like so. And you'll notice again that we're still drawing on layer 0. So I'm just going to select this, change it to the object layer. Now what I want to do is I'm going to hit escape a couple of times. I'm going to go up to my layer properties. And I'm going to double click on my object layer, double left click. So now the check mark jumps down to my object layer. Okay, so now everything that we draw is going to be on the object layer. I just want to show you how to do that. All right, so I'm going to hit the close. And so now what we want to do is we're going to draw the lines that are inside this kind of outside triangle shape. So I'm just going to kind of create one section of lines, and then I'll show you a fancier way that we don't have to do that same thing to all of them. But I'm going to go up to line, and also make sure under your object snaps, we want to have midpoint selected as well. That's going to make life easy. So I'm going to draw a line from this top corner down to the midpoint of this line. We see a green triangle pop in. I'm going to hit escape. And then what I want to do is I'm going to use the offset command again. And it still should be at 0.25, but just make sure you're offset at 0.25. So I'm press enter. I'm going to select my line. I'm just going to select the line, just kind of keep going to the right. For here, I'm going to select this line and go to the left. Just keep selecting it and offsetting it. All right, so let me hit escape a couple of times. I'm going to use the trim command, and I'm just going to trim out the extents of these lines like so. I could just draw a line all the way across and just get them all at once. So then I'm going to hit escape a couple of times again to get out of that. So we have one of these kind of not really hatched, but we have one of these completed. So I think the easiest way for here, instead of doing that same thing to all these, I am going to use under modify, I'm going to go up to my polar array. I'm going to click polar array. And then I'm going to select all these lines that I just did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to press enter. And it's looking for the center point. What is the center point of my array? So I'm going to select this center of this box again. And notice we get all kind of weird lines going all crazy. So all we want to do now is I'm just going to go up to where you see items. And instead of 6, I'm going to type in 4. And press the tab key. And now you notice they kind of line up, are all nice and neat like it. So then I'm just going to click on close array. So there is our completed lines and squares pattern. So just make sure you save that. And there you go. Hope that helped. All right, peace out.